COVID has hit many industries hard, but one of the hardest hit has been travel retail. Karine and I have been in the industry a long time and we know how resilient it is. Travel retail will bounce back, but the question is how and when. Ultimately, it's in our nature to want to mix, socialise, travel, experience. So whilst we remain at the mercy of governments agreeing on a common approach for travel, it has given the industry time for fresh thinking and time to innovate. So today we want to talk to you about how travel retail will get back on track. Before we do that, we just want to talk a little bit about who we are, introduce ourselves. My name is Laurie Fiore. I've sort of practically grown up with the Estée Lauder group of companies, having worked in the UK market, in sort of coming up via marketing with brands such as Clinique, Estée Lauder, Stila, Prescriptis, Aramis. I then moved to Estée Lauder travel retailing for EMEA, working with brands such as Jo Malone, La Mer, Bobbi Brown, Aveda and Origins. I then moved to Sisley as UK Managing Director, then Clive Christian Fragrances as Global COO. And just under 3 years ago, Karine and I set up Flores Brand Works. So first, we'd like to introduce who we are. My name is Laurie Fiore. I practically grew up with the Estée Lauder group of companies in the UK market, working with brands such as Clinique, Estée Lauder, Stila. I then moved to Estée Lauder Travel Retail for the EMEA region as regional director, working for what was then called the specialty brands, Jo Malone, La Mer, Bobbi Brown, etc. I then moved to Sisley as UK Managing Director, then to Clive Christian Fragrances as Global COO. And then just under 3 years ago, Karine and I set up Flores Brand Works Limited.
And hi, my name is Karine Fleury-Richards. So I started my career in France, in Paris, with L'Oréal, where I was working in the global marketing and NPD for Lancôme. Then I moved with L'Oréal to the UK when I was working for L'Oréal Paris, the mass market brand. To move then to Estée Lauder companies where I met Laurie, where I worked for several positions in travel retail EMEA, in marketing and commercial on the brand Clinique, La Mer, Jo Malone, Bobbi Brown, Origins and Aveda. I then took on a corporate role first in EMEA and then globally, where I was heading the shopper insight and category strategy department. Then I moved and created my own consulting business called Strategy Decoded before then 3 years ago joining Flores Brand Works.
Between Karine and I, we have over 20 years experience in combined experience in travel retailing. We've got a proven record of building niche brands, which has included expanding distribution, adapting programs for the local market. We've got strong relationships across all three channels in the industry, and we have global reach, having worked in all the key areas of the industry. The travel retail channel is dynamic, driven not only by trends in beauty and retail, but also by global economic and geopolitical issues, as well as health scares and epidemics. Between 2010 and 2018, travel retail grew at a CAGR growth of plus 12.6%. 2019 marked another year of above-trend growth in travel retail, plus 14.1% year-on-year to $87 billion US dollars for the total market. And this was driven predominantly by increased passenger volume and rising spend per person. The perfumes and cosmetics category continues to drive industry sales with the highest growth, plus 25.3% to $82 billion US dollars. This chart shows the beauty sales by channel, and we've shown 2015 versus 2019. In 2015, airport shops had the majority share of the business, just under 63%. Other shops accounted for just under 30% of the business, and other shops are cruises, downtown shops, border shops, etc. And airlines and ferries taking the rest at 10%. By 2019, although the airports had continued to grow in double-digit growth, other shops were really showing the dramatic growth with 139% growth and had increased their market share to 44.7%. This was mainly attributed to growth in cruises and downtown shops. Airlines in-flight business practically flatlines due to lack of innovation, and ferries increased market share, but still unexciting results.
Still looking at the generation numbers and the evolution between 2015 to 2019, which is the latest official available data for travel retail, because there is always a lag of 1 year behind. So if you look at the region, since the last 15 years, the region share in beauty have evolved with the constant growth of the Chinese travelers. The main region in travel retail, with soon 3/4 of the industry, is Asia Pacific. With China and Hainan travel retail sales growing despite this pandemic, we expect this trend to continue. Now, looking at the share of the categories, historically, fragrance used to be the biggest category in travel retail, and it is still the case in EMEA and especially in the Middle East. However, with the increase of Chinese travelers, skincare is now by far the largest category, which is more than half of the travel retail beauty sales. Makeup also grew to equal globally the share of fragrance. So if we look at the global passenger traffic and what happened in 2020, obviously, the number of 2019 were completely challenged, and the global passenger traffic declined minus 66% versus 2019 in 2020. And the entire beauty market of travel retail declined by 30% versus 2019. The highest fall was seen in Europe, where the travel Europe beauty market declined by 80%. Americas by 70%, and APAC minus 13%. Now, in 2020, the source industry estimates that China actually was still growing plus 25%. Now, if we look at the top nationality traveling by air internationally, there was, of course, a considerable drop of passenger and traveler traveling internationally from China in 2020. So from being number 4 in 2019, they dropped in the ranking in 2020. But we can see that they're already back in 2021 and should gain back and claim back their top 4 nationalities by the end of the year. Now, we used to analyze the travel retail corridor, so to understand where each nationality was traveling. So, for example, we were always looking at where Chinese travelers were traveling around the world. And, for example, in Europe, they were going to the UK, France, Italy, Norway. And we're looking and observing those travel corridors because it had a direct impact on the skincare sales for the majority of brands. And what we expect is that after the pandemic, we expect those travel corridors to change and adapt.
One of the key things that we are seeing is that the consumer mindset has changed coming out of COVID. So many things in our lives have changed this past year. Our place of work, how we go about our day-to-day lives, our spending habits, all of this has and will continue to influence and change the consumer mindset. And we need to adapt when travel retail fully opens. Wellness pre-COVID was already a growing trend in the industry, but during COVID has really accelerated and is continuing to be a key part in customers' purchase and service considerations. The consumer is searching for products or services that enhance comfort, health, and happiness. Health and safety is key. It's key to creating a safe and welcoming retail environment for travellers and cruise staff. Travellers need to be reassured that all staff are trained to ensure that they are entering a safe and happy environment. Sustainable, again, a key trend pre-COVID, but now brands' products need to have a sustainable story to engage with the consumer. The credentials of where a product was sourced, what materials were used, and that the people who produced them worked in a secure supply chain are now of equal importance to price and promotion. And the retail staff really need to be knowledgeable about sustainability. And lastly, personalisation. A move to a more personalised service that takes the passenger experience up a level, particularly if there is some caution about being in the bricks and mortar environment or in the spaces where there may be small crowds. So personal shopping, one-on-one consultations are some of the options. And digital can also help support these efforts, such as click and collect service, pre-travel or post-travel. This past year has given airports the time and space to rethink their strategy and adapt to meet changing expectations, to encourage people to travel again and force them to reconsider business and operational processes. It goes without saying now that we need to be safe, secure, and we need to provide a hygienic travel experience. And passengers may well choose airports that prioritise their well-being. There'll be even more touchless processes and processes completed remotely. Greater use of data, including health information to enable safe and seamless travel, and check-in and drop-off, bag drop-off, where now it's just the areas for first-class passengers, may well move off airport for all of us to include bag pickup, remote locations coupled with rapid testing facilities. There'll be great integration with other transit systems, seamless, touchless journey. And airlines may well be looking at reconfiguring their seating to provide more separation. We already have e-gates, but these will be increased, again, to replace touch points to provide greater efficiency and less person-to-person contact and crowding. So in addition to the health and safety of passengers, this also contributes to seamless movement throughout the airport, a much less stressful journey, and then ultimately more time to shop. The latest trend report shows that beauty shoppers in travel retailing are less likely to consider not visiting duty-free in future trips because of COVID. This source is from Mindset, which was the report was done in January 21, just as the vaccine program was taken off in the UK. So it would be interesting to see, come sort of summer, late summer, what response are given by customers. But interesting to see is that still 41% of beauty shoppers will interact as before with sales staffs, and 52% will interact if needed, but by taking precautions. 42% will try the products as before, and 33% will test products only if necessary and carefully. So it's important that we need to bring back the excitement back to travellers. Retailers are looking to innovate digitally. Omnichannel retail, not born out of COVID, has dramatically elevated customers' use of both online and offline channels. Customers now have matured into online super users. They may still opt to buy in traditional bricks and mortar stores. Person-to-person engagement is still a key component, but it must be complemented with the use of digital tools. In the US, Grab, an e-commerce and digital ordering platform, allows customers to pre-order from a large range of travel retail products and pick up in store or have their purchases delivered to gate. Hudson Bay, also in the US, is rolling out a tap and pay, perfect for customers looking to shop at speed and convenience that fits their schedule. Contactless shopping is the future, but as traveling is fun, so too must the shopping experience be.
Now, in order to adapt to the challenge during the pandemic, many airports have to reinvent themselves. And we want to look here at the great example from Changi Airport. So Lim Pek Hoon, the Executive Vice President Commercial of Changi Airport, was quoted saying, "Now we have no passengers. Does this mean we have no more customer to serve?" So basically, his mindset is that their customer, the passenger, they're still their customer, but at the moment, they're unable to fly. So how do we capture for them? So what Changi's done, they created an e-commerce platform to sell to residents in Singapore with home delivery without the need to fly. And also they included food delivery services using the catering offer from the airport. They also created some special experience at the airport. So, for example, some Christmas Changi village event for the family, where the family could be, having an overnight stay and an experience for Christmas as a bubble. Also, some VIP shopping tour at the airport. In terms of cruises as well, this demand is surging, and cruise had to adapt, but the restarts are coming. So basically, in 2019, over 29 million of people took a cruise, and 60% of the industry is from repeat travelers. So there is a significant base of loyal and committed cruisers who are out there waiting to get back on board. And the recent booking data just confirmed this very high demand. So Oceania 2023 round world voyage sold out in one day from going on sales. Carnival booking in 2022, so the booking for 2022, are better than those of 2019. Crystal Cruise sold 4,000 cabins on the opening day of Voyage, being put on sale from the beginning. As the vaccination program accelerates here in the UK, UK coastal cruises have been given the green light to begin sailing from the middle of May. So within the space of a week, P&O Cruises, Cunard, Princess, MSC, Viking, Fred Olsen, and Saga all announced plans to sail on UK coastal cruise. The level of interest in this trip had been unprecedented. So what do we expect when the cruise return? So we expect that the existing cruiser will return in higher number. Yes, the new to cruise are expected to be below prior levels. However, the shorter UK itinerary favor this market segment. The elevated health and safety protocol for both guest, crew, and ship environment are a must. But at the moment, the vaccine and the testing requirements are not very clean, and they're quite spread and not homogeneous around all the cruise requirements. But what we know for sure is that there will be a limited opportunities for shopping ashore and trips ashore, which is a positive point for the retail of travel retail sales inside the cruise.
And we see a similar program with flights because flight bookings coming now should offer some hope. With the vaccine program surging ahead in the UK and other markets, for instance, the US, the leisure market is expected to start bouncing back this summer. Because of this, we're seeing an increase in low-cost airlines, and you can see the increase in flights to Greece, which is one of the markets that has said they're opening up for tourists, from the UK. And these are numbers of flights expected this year versus last year. However, there are still a lot of people who are waiting but aren't prepared to book last-minute holidays, especially as countries open up their borders and come off the government's red list. Interesting now also are the market bubbles that are being formed. So, for instance, New Zealand and Australia, Hong Kong and Singapore, that will allow free movement between each market and start to revive the duty-free market. As the UK vaccinations proceed at a fast pace, we've just heard that the EU is now signalling opening up their borders to the lucrative US traveller this summer. But a lot of airlines have been in dire need to innovate and move away from the often tattered catalogue in the seat back pocket. Singapore Airlines is one of the airlines that have really started to innovate with their Chris Shop. Chris Shop became a flagship e-commerce entity, embarking on an omni-channel journey in travel retailing, offering gift wrapping, working with local brands to promote them internationally, offering a promotional calendar such as Tech Fair with beauty devices, and offering free delivery. They've also struck a 3-year partnership with the Singapore Tourist Board to jointly market homegrown brands and extend their e-commerce reach. Under the partnership, content will be co-developed to profile local brands on chrisshop.com. So Chris Shop will repositioned by also becoming e-commerce for local Singapore brands. So the demand for digital is high, and the pandemic accelerated online behavior. Travelers will not want to lose the convenience of digital. They want to shop online or pre-order. A higher proportion of them wants to use digital in different touch points before entering the store. So we know that 56% of travelers are willing to shop online, pre-order online, and collect items upon boarding at arrival. And this is also from a Mindset study run in January 2021. Many airports have already started to move into the digital arena, but still lag behind their local market retailers. Due to the changing world, this has now forced them into accelerating and investing to keep them not just ahead, but in the game. While COVID restrictions will continue to apply, that touchy-feely sampling has gone, so digital becomes even more important. Many brands are investing in face recognition technology, colour makeovers, shade choice, etc. And shown here is L'Oreal's Modiface, which retailers now need to embrace these new technologies on their platform and promote pre-travel in store. Pre-COVID, brands invested heavily in large store areas, top luxury store design and high footprint. Is this still relevant post-COVID? Lotte Downtown Store in South Korea launched their smart stores in 2020, designed to minimize face-to-face contact and offer a fast and comfortable shopping environment. And Lancome has just opened a 520 square meter smart shop with them too. So to maintain social distance, consumer and traveler prefer digital to human interaction.
such as QR code and kiosk, and always a preference to use their own device. And in that case, they want to use their own device to learn about product and brands, look for specific product, check price, but also pay for the product. So historically, travel retail exclusive have always been a very strong part of the business in travel retail, and they are now more important than ever. Every retailer is fighting and basically trying to claw back lost business. So in order to stand out from the high street on more than price, which is not a sustainable differentiator anymore, travel retail has to offer more new and travel retail exclusive in the mix, along with gifting option to accompany this. So in the recent survey from Mindset that they did on actual beauty shopper in 2021, 83% purchase at least one duty-free exclusive, and the largest share wants to see those offers in travel retail in store.
Hainan has without a doubt been the star of 2020. And as Martin Moody said in April 2021, Hainan may have been the sector's key beneficiary in 2020 thanks to the global travel restrictions, but having claimed a place at travel retail's top table, there is no chance of it relinquishing that position. Since its introduction in September 2011, Hainan's offshore duty-free business has grown into a $5 billion channel by the end of 2020. Its estimated share of luxuries sold within China has grown to from 30% pre-crisis to 50% post-crisis. And Hainan has just been nicknamed the lighthouse of travel retail. So there are some major changes ahead. So in terms of store design and real estate, will bigger still be bigger? So pre-COVID, we were in a trend where brands were investing heavily on large store area, top luxury store design and high footprint. Is this still relevant post-COVID with the rise of digital? In terms of customer demography, there will be some change as well, because we will shift towards younger and first-time traveler with far fewer business travelers. In 2020 and 2021, the travel was only critical and need travelers as opposed to leisure. Late 2021 and early 2022, we expect leisure to boom. The Chinese as well. Chinese have been now enticed to travel within China and realized they could have holiday in Hainan safely. Will the level of Chinese travel abroad go back to pre-COVID levels? Or has a new domestic travel bubble habit been adopted? So expect see a return to 2019 sales by 2025. But the changing face of the industry will have implication. And also by region, Asia intra-regional travel could be ahead of 2019 as soon as 2022, followed by North America domestic, while Europe and other regions are likely to hit 2019 numbers in 2025 or 2026. So a key question now is it easier or harder for new brands to enter travel retail? Well, a little bit of a mix of both. Every retailer has to look at costs and cost of goods, and the best retailers will be working with existing brand partners to rebuild their businesses. However, emerging brands and newness is the hunting ground of travel retailing, and new and exclusive are two major influencing, motivating factors to buy. The trick for those brands is to convince the retailer they have the full 360-degree solution and not just a product on a shelf listing. So what are the key takeaways from this? Firstly is that we are on a long road to recovery to get back to those pre-COVID levels. But leisure travel is expected to bounce back as soon as restrictions ease and the vaccination programs roll out on a global basis. What's really unknown at the moment is the impact on the number of business travellers. But airports, cruises and airlines have to embrace the change to meet travellers' new expectations of a digitalised and safe shopping experience. And retailers will be evaluating current models and looking for new brands to introduce into the mix. But ultimately, travel retail is resilient. It will bounce back. And we now need to be agile, innovative and constantly adapting and listening to the changes coming.
Thank you to Forward Keys and Mindset Generation for helping us with the data. And thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you.